The lecture hall was buzzing with laughter as Professor Raymond Hart, the most brilliant mathematician at Greenfield University, scribbled a monstrous equation across the whiteboard. "Whoever solves this," he declared with a smug grin, "earns my respect and maybe even my hand in marriage." The class roared. Everyone knew he was joking. The equation had stumped even Nobel winners. Sitting quietly in the back, mopping the floor, was Thomas Reed, the janitor. His uniform was faded, his hands rough, but his eyes, calm and steady, followed every symbol on that board. Raymond loved moments like this. They fed his ego. "This," he said, pointing at the equation, "is unsolvable, a true mystery of mathematics." He turned, ready to bask in his students' admiration, until Thomas's voice broke through. "Sir," the janitor said softly, "your constants are off by a factor of 2. The room went silent. The students looked from Thomas to the professor. Raymond raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me." Thomas hesitated, gripping his mop. "If you allow, sir, I think I can simplify it." The professor chuckled. "Be my guest." Thomas set the mop aside and walked toward the board, every step echoing in the stunned silence. He picked up a marker with hands that still smelled faintly of disinfectant. He didn't rush. He adjusted one variable, crossed out a symbol, and rewrote a single line. The room collectively leaned forward. Within moments, the impossible equation began to shrink, layer after layer unraveling like a secret being whispered. Raymond's smile faltered. "That's not possible," he muttered. Thomas finished with a simple line, x theta 1. He turned back to face the professor, humble and unsure. "I think that's it." For a long second, no one moved. Then the professor, still staring at the board, whispered, "He's right." The students gasped. The man they revered, the man who thought himself untouchable, was speechless before the janitor. "Where did you learn that?" Raymond asked, still dazed. Thomas smiled faintly. "Nowhere special, sir. I just used to love math, before life got busy." The professor blinked, still processing. "Used to," Thomas looked down at his worn shoes. "I was working on my PhD once. My wife got sick. Cancer. I dropped out to take care of her. After she passed, I never went back." The class fell silent again, but this time it wasn't shock. It was respect. The arrogance that once filled the room melted away, replaced by something deeply human. Raymond stepped closer. "You're telling me you've been cleaning these halls all these years, with a mind like that?" Thomas shrugged. "It's honest work. And sometimes I get to listen to great lectures for free." The professor laughed softly, shaking his head. "You've just solved what mathematicians around the world couldn't. You've done the impossible." Then his eyes softened. "And about that marriage proposal?" The students laughed again, this time with warmth. Raymond extended his hand instead. "I think we should start with a job offer." Thomas hesitated before shaking it. Firm, grateful, and slightly trembling. The classroom erupted in applause. A week later, a new name appeared on the faculty board, Thomas Reed, assistant professor of mathematics. The janitor's cart stood abandoned in the corner of the hall, polished one last time. Every morning after that, students gathered a little earlier, eager for his lectures. He spoke of numbers, yes, but also of choices, compassion, and the invisible equations of life that only the heart could solve. And sometimes, when Professor Hart passed by that same whiteboard, he would smile to himself, remembering the day he was humbled, not by another scholar, but by a man who had quietly carried genius, grief, and grace all in one soul,